Welcome, my Inner Insights family. Well, today I want to talk about chakras and just understanding how that can affect our care or how it can affect others and how they're holding perhaps different patterns. So, what are chakras? Chakras, the word in Sanskrit means wheel, and this wheel is thought to be spinning discs of energy points through the body. And these energy points through the body seem to correspond to nerve bundles, major organs, as well as energetic points in our body that affect our physical and emotional well-being. So it's important to understand, I think, when you're working with something regularly, for instance, like digestion, is it really digestion that is the issue, or perhaps our emotions involved and tightening up that ganglia set of nerves that's just underneath the diaphragm, if you can see it there, but this big ball of nerves that essentially feeds everything below it, so it really helps to open up our digestion. And if you're feeling anxious, you might have a tight digestion, and that might impede your ability to absorb nutrients and break down waste or eliminate waste. So it can be that your nerves give you a nervous belly, and maybe you get more gassy because of that. Maybe you get more bloated. Maybe things move through too fast and you get those tiny pencil poos. We can tell a lot about people by their posture, and that being said, by their energy that they emit and how that affects your posture or your digestion or your jaw clenching or sinus infections. So essentially, I believe the disease starts from our emotions. And if your emotions are balanced, if you can incorporate meditation and yoga, deep diaphragmatic breathing, baths, orgasms, herbal teas, juices, reading, hammocks, forest walks, grounding yourself by being barefoot in nature. There are so many things that can help our energetic bodies and help us feel more aligned and open. And so that'll be part of your home care advice that you're perhaps passing on to your guests, your clients, is to make sure that they're nurturing their energetic bodies, however you want to word that. But chakras might come to mind. And so today we'll be talking about each chakra and how it affects that area of the body, or how it possibly can, and what you can do as a practitioner to help bring consciousness and openness to that area to prevent working on an area repetitively, as most things that manifest into a physical have started from an emotional imbalance and maybe have been fed inherited weaknesses and poor habits on top of it. So let's begin with the root chakra. Our root chakra is our base. It's also known as our base chakra, and the color might be red. So there's colors and sounds associated. I really like this chart. I think in any course that you take with us, you're welcome to just email me if you can't download this yourself, and I can give you a clearer link. But at the bottom there, it gives credit to Inner Light Resources, and they've done a really nice chart. There's a gazillion charts, so you could just go online really and see what resonates with you as far as chakras. And I like this one because it goes through not only the color, the key points in that chakra, the name of the chakra, it also goes through the symbols associated with it, and the music note, the sound, the vibration that's associated with opening up that chakra, key crystals and minerals, astrology signs, which can be helpful, different planets and their alignments, and then emphasis on addictions, common addictions in those chakras, as well as common essential oils that might be good for that. And on that note, essential oils, it's an interesting thing when you're looking at chakras. First of all, placebo effect is a real thing. So when you believe in something, you really help to enhance that power. You're sending energy literally to that intent. So where your mind goes, energy follows, and be mindful of your intentions. Certainly our intentions with helping others release these blockages or keeping their chakras open, we can use a diverse amount of tools, but we're not psychologists. So sometimes it's nice just to maybe put a crystal in their hand and let them know this crystal is to help drain and draw out negativity, or it's to help alleviate worries, or it's to help with boosting confiance and your self-confidence, self-value, self-worth, and just planting that seed. And that can be a really helpful focus when people are maybe a little bit harsh on themselves and might be beating themselves up and having a hard time relaxing. And even in massage, some people haven't really been taught how to relax, or maybe have even been taught that massage is luxurious rather than something that is of benefit in helping them learn how to relax, which in itself, as soon as you relax, you're eliciting a parasympathetic response, which induces rest and repair and healing. So back to the essential oils. Some people look at the colors of the essential oils and will align that with the chakras, others with their functions and those chakras. And so you'll see a lot of variation there. And back to placebo, I do believe that if you believe that this is something that's helping them and you're planting that seed, then you can use, for instance, frankincense to help open up third eye and mental clarity. At the same time, frankincense is a great one for the root chakra and for helping with grounding us, releasing negative energy. And so you can see also some people will say frankincense because it's a bronchial dilator and it's really good for rheumatism, or to open up bronchial dilation, to open up your sinuses and help with expanding your lung volume. So nothing's wrong. There is no right or wrong answer to that. Yes, you could say frankincense is great for the third eye. It's great for the throat chakra. It's great for the heart chakra, and it's great for your root chakra. So keep in mind, these are essential oils, and chakras are really a loose, and there's a lot of variation that'll come into play, and it really depends on what you're looking at. So if I'm looking at working with the heart chakra, you'll see that maybe peppermint might be good for the heart chakra because the lungs are involved in that area and it is a wonderful bronchial dilator. At the same time, if you're working through loss, heartache, you might look at rose essential oil, as that one is really good for love, for the heart chakra, for essence, self-love, self-value, self-growth. So let's get started on that note. Back to the root. Yeah, the color is red. It's known as your root chakra or your base chakra, and it really helps with survival, sexuality, and grounding us, really being that tail that roots us into the ground. So if you're feeling imbalanced, anxious, if you're feeling financially inhibited, sexually inhibited, or imbalanced, root chakra might be somewhere to start a focus on with your practice, whether it's in meditation, journaling, consciously releasing this. And with your clients, you might find that because root chakra is at our base of our spinal cord, that we have the perineum, the pelvic floor, anus, the lower reproductive organs are in there, so our ovaries. And also that it is something that can affect their sacrum, lower back, and hips as far as pain goes. So if you're working with the sacrum a lot, with the iliosacral joint, and finding that it's locking up a lot, maybe it's impinging the sciatic nerve, maybe that's a common thing for them, that their one nerve is lit up running from the SI joint, or that lower back gets really lit up particularly around their menses, around their periods, then that might be a sign, if it's a pattern, that there may be some unwinding to do. So again, we're not psychologists. We're not going to get into too much detail, but even just planting a stone in their hand, or using a stone, or just vocalizing that this area on an energetic plane has to do with, sexuality, survival, and grounding. I wonder if one of those might feel a little bit out of balance for you, and if there's some mindful practice that you have to help you with rebalancing that sequence. So I do highly encourage you to consider taking healing touch or Reiki or any energy practice. I think it is the most important thing for any practitioner to ground themselves with. A conscious, I'm not sure that ritual is the right word, but a conscious thing before you commence your massage. You might see in my videos for the massage components that I clear by frictioning my hands together. As I'm in prayer, before I begin hands-on service on clients, I like to friction my hands together to allow God's grace to come through me, or if that is, extension that's not comfortable for you, just to be mindful that everything is for the client's highest good, and this has nothing to do with me. So I put a protective encapsulation around myself and know that I'm not going to take in any of their negativity as they shed it, as I am increasing lymphatic drainage and encouraging detoxification. So this is not an energy course, but you are all beings of light. And as you shine your light, it's important to keep it safe, protected, and to really help others become aware of their light and how they can keep it open and bright. So back to the root chakra. We mentioned the colors red has to do with survival, sexuality. If you're feeling sexually in balance, that might be something, whether, looking at, again, we're not psychologists, so as I think of all the things that can help with sexuality, it's not in my place perhaps to say these things, but I might suggest that they look into that. So on that note, something that's a very grounding sound is a drum, and the drum, we all know it is our heartbeat, but it roots us and it anchors us. And so if you're feeling scattered or imbalanced, not anchored, you might get a drum and just give it a good drumming. That's an excellent vibration for helping to ground you. A fire is an excellent grounder as well. It's very hypnotizing and it can set you into a trance. Often Native Americans burnt cedar wood to facilitate removing negative energy and to ground and anchor us and really help open and strengthen our root chakra. So as we look at the essential oils for the root chakra, you might find that a lot of them are base notes. And if we look at base notes with essential oils, they tend to be woods, resins, barks, berries. They are the anchors. They are the strongest plant material, really. A berry is very firm, a bark is very firm, resin is very dense, wood is certainly very dense, as opposed to flowers, blossoms, citrus, or leaves are other options, right? So those base notes are our anchors, and they can really help to anchor and ground your client. So you would look at frankincense, myrrh, sandalwood, cedarwood. Certainly you could do juniper berry, cinnamon bark, clove. Those are the ones that I can think of off of the top of my head. Palo Santo is a great grounding. That's like the, if you were to look around the world, I've traveled the world for essential oils, and I do find the strongest sandalwood is in India. And when I go to India, that is their oil for purification, for cleansing. They have flawless skin, and they all use sandalwood. It's an amazing anti-inflammatory for pain. It's an amazing one for rheumatism, for opening up the lungs. It's great for sensitive skin. But it is very much a grounding agent. As soon as you smell it, you are anchored, you are settled. It's a very peaceful smell, and most of their ashrams and meditation centers, prayer centers, temples are burning sandalwood. And jasmine is the other one that's always burnt there, of course. But as far as a base note, it's sandalwood. And if I was to look at a base note that's used for clarity and purification, when I went to Israel and Egypt, it was for sure frankincense, Frankie, my affectionate name for frankincense, and myrrh. And those are some of the finest that I've smelt was out of Israel. Now, I do have to say that frankincense out of India is really beautiful as well, because of their soil content, and that's where we're getting different properties of different essential oils, is because of the soil that it comes from. So sandalwood is a much different chemical constitution in East India than it is in Australia or Hawaii, for example. I would not use, I mean, I'm sure they're beautiful, it's just the authentic base note that I know that smells a real base, it just anchors you, is that East Indian one. And then when I went to Machu Picchu, to Peru, it was, of course, Palo Santos that was everywhere that they're burning for purification. You go into any of the temples there and churches, and yeah, the churches all have like the little pieces of wood, and they're burning that and clearing you. And of course, as a Native American woman myself, I know that our 4 sacred herbs of the natives here is cedarwood, sweetgrass, sage, and tobacco. But the base note really is the cedarwood here. And like I said earlier, natives around a fire, it's a very hypnotic trance thing to purify at the end of the day, to ground and anchor yourself in front of a cedar burning fire. Yeah, so different anchors, different places in the world, they're all doing the same thing. If you go to a Catholic church, it's frankincense that's, if you know, remember how they are burning that and smoke is everywhere, that's frankincense that they're using to draw out negativity, draw out negative energy, and cast protection around ourselves. Yeah, so our base notes are great to help root and anchor us, ground us, and you might consider some of those essential oils in your practice. And certainly smudging, I think, is a wonderful thing to do, whether it's a daily basis or... Now, smudging you might do with cedarwood, or some people do it with like a Palo Santos, like I was saying, or with sage bundles, or a mix of them. Even I've seen people do a braid of sweetgrass and mix it with some sage. That's a really nice way to purify. There's all different kinds of ways to purify your space, your home, your clinic, your place of practice, your place of temple. I think it's a really important thing, whether you're leaving out a bowl of salt and that'll draw negative energy towards it, and then flush it down the toilet and have a vision of transformation, that all negativity goes back to disperses back to the universe, as we're all elements. We're all just molecules that are constantly interacting with each other. And so I think it's a really good idea to constantly be aware of just flushing out negativity and looking at where our patterns lie. And if we can help to release patterns and open chakras, perhaps we can accelerate healing and hold it for a much longer time. Hold that new pattern. All right, so that's just a little bit about the root chakra. I did mention crystals. This is a nice little, I don't know if you can see that, a garnet. Red garnet is a really great one for grounding, and I love the weight of garnet. So it's a nice one to hold on to and just say, this stone will help to absorb your negativity. You might allow it to do that, or it might bring awareness to you to focus on that. And then I've also got massage stones that I can massage with, pressure point stones, which I love. This one's an obsidian, which is another one for the root chakra, and it's really great even to give them to hold on to, as well as using it in massage. They range. If you go to crystal shows, I get them there for about, I don't know, everything changes over time in prices, but I find them really reasonable, and of course they're right off. I think these might be $10 or $20. And so yeah, those are good ones for root chakra. There's certainly, you can go into hematite, and you can look at a lot of the red stones, bloodstone, and dark stones like the obsidian, the hematite, black onyx, all really great to ground and root us as far as stones go, if you want to incorporate them into your practice. A lot of people have a natural connection to stones, and it's thought that stones have been here throughout time, and they've helped us transition through time and carry a lot of wisdom in them. So even if it's just a thought, certainly doesn't hurt to try. And they're not very expensive, and definitely feel really good to hold, just the weight of them themselves. So the next chakra up is our spleen chakra, and that's around your belly button area. Your spleen itself is your blood's reservoir. That organ is involved in it. The element there is water, whereas we mentioned, I think, that the element was fire for the root chakra. And the sound is the sound of strings. The string instruments are something that really resonates, and the D is the chord, the musical note that connects that opens that vibration. Rather, D opens that chakra with its vibration. And O is the sound that really opens that up. Water signs tend to be a little bit more stuck in the navel or in the orange or spleen chakra. And certain crystals that tend to be great for spleen chakras, certainly anything that's orange, so you can do a cascite or orange topaz, but also looking at moonstones and coral, fire opal. And then taste is something that we really connect with as far as emotions and kinetics with the solar plex chakra, the spleen chakra. And so because taste is the connection, the addiction tends to be food and more in the sugars and alcohol. So addictions there tend to be rooted around sugars, sweets particularly, and alcohol. And then if I didn't mention the common addictions, I can't even read that. But common addictions, I'm pretty sure were sex as one of them, and cleaning compulsion for the root chakra. That color's so dark, it's hard to read, but again, I can send you this chart if you'd like. It's a nice addition. Also, there's some notes in your manual as well. You'll notice that I don't talk too much from the manual, as I've expected that you've read that and already learned from that, and don't want to really be too redundant. More just about inspiring you to go a little bit deeper if you're curious. So yeah, that chakra itself has to do, back to the spleen chakra, a lot with our adrenal glands and our kidneys and our urinary tract and blood sugars. So you can see the blood sugars this is why we have the addiction to food, because you have a craving. Taste is the sense that we're really drawn towards in this area. And then you can see how you can get UTIs, as urinary tract infections can become an issue in this area, as well as imbalances in your blood sugars like diabetes or hypoglycemic, or just highs and lows of crashing with feeding yourself sugars. It might not be something diagnosed. And then the feelings tend to be around emotional neediness and boundaries, needing to set boundaries around trust and intimacy, warmth, attachment versus letting go, addictions versus pleasure, need, where things begin and where things end. Those are all great contemplations with the spleen chakra. And as far as essential oils with the spleen chakra, because it is orange, some people go towards the citrus there. Citrus are a natural antidepressant. They're really uplifting on the emotions. And so just smelling a citrus can be really uplifting. And it also can help with appetite. As soon as you smell that, that might stimulate some digestive enzymes to be secreted, or hydrochloric acid, so that you can feel hungry if hunger wasn't a thing for you, or if you need to digest. They can also be helpful for that. But they're certainly known as happy oils. And yeah, so tangerine, mandarin, orange, sweet orange, blood orange, all great choices there. If we go into the next chakra up is, that's where that ganglia set of nerves, again, I think I'll have to stand up, but our ganglia set of nerves is that ball of nerves that feeds our digestion and everything below it. And if it's impinged, you might have, like I said, a really tight colon that's creating that that spasticness to it. And things can go through gurgly if that happens, or go through too fast and not absorb our nutrients very well if that's the case. So you want to bring deep diaphragmatic breathing into it, as that can be really helpful to opening up that nervous system. Your solar plex is yellow, the color of it, and it does have a lot to do with self-confidence, self-value, self-worth. It's very much something where our digestion is affected by it. As I'd said, the pancreas is involved, the liver, your stomach itself, the small intestines, and again, our blood sugars are seen coming through here. So mentally, we've got this mental strain. Perhaps there's the balance of willpower versus concentration, control over yourself and over others, the belief and feelings, how you feel about yourself and how you feel about self-value or critical thoughts. Being too self-critical often comes up with solar plex. That need for perfectionism might be an imbalance in your solar plex, or something that needs to be nourished. And, you know, of course, we can do that by practicing things so that we become better. So, of course, as a new student here, your self-confidence is going to be triggered. You're going to be working through the solar plex. The color is yellow, so get lots of sunshine to really open that up, and know that you're a light being and a light worker. And this will come. You're in something new, so you're going to be a little apprehensive, maybe not feeling confident as you'd like. But of course, as you go through practicing, this is just going to become like riding a bike. It'll be second nature and you'll master it. It's just needing practice. And as you practice more and more, you will build your self-confidence. You'll find your flow with it, and you'll have that seamless transition from one move to the next. And so it's like a lullaby. Essentially, you want to dance through your practice. You want to, I often say it's like yoga dance. I feel like I'm doing yoga because if you could watch me, well, I guess you might watch me actually with the video, but you'll see that my whole body gets involved. I want my spine in alignment so that my chakras remain open and that I'm not taking stuff in. If I'm crunching up because I'm trying so hard to use strength, then my shoulders and my neck are going to be blocked, and that area will start to be impeded with circulation and cause nerve irritations, pain, and compression in my tissues, and my soft tissues. So, know that I know you're working through self-confidence with this, and you might get yourself a crystal like citrine. Citrine is actually a really good one for money as well. So I have a little citrine that I keep in my cash box when we do trade shows and whatnot. But citrine is really great for self-confidence and self-value, self-worth, and we are all struggling with that. We all need more self-confidence, more self-value, and we are all too critical on ourselves. You are probably your worst judge, you know, so I say love yourself like a baby. Really be gentle, just like you would with a baby. You're just learning, and be patient with yourself and allow yourself grace. Grace to fall, grace to make errors, grace for space to learn. And yeah, I trust that if you've been drawn to this, you'll move through the tightness in your solar plex, the nervous belly, and you'll find your confidence in this the more you practice. Just trust that. And if you want a worry stone, yeah, citrine's a beautiful one. It's one of my favorites. So solar plexus are really, the earth elements are connected there, and it's our sight. We're really, the sense that is stimulated is sight. So when you see how people react to you, or when you see something new, how do you interpret it? The hands-on, this is very much a hands-on. So once you see the hands-on, you can connect with that and go, oh, okay, I can copy that. I can practice that. I can do that at the same time. Yeah. So the element here, we talked about, well, different symbols. And sorry, did I say that fire was for the root chakra? Earth is the root chakra. Earth grounds us to the earth. But fire is the element. So you'll find astrology signs that are the fire signs, like the Aries and the Leo and the Sagittarius, will naturally be more involved in the root chakra, just as those water signs of Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces would be more working through the spleen chakras. And so the fire is for the solar plex. And so we'll see that, oh my goodness, the earth astrology is for the solar plex. The fire is the element for the solar plex, and the astrology is earth. So anybody that's a Taurus or a Capricorn or a Virgo might be working even more so with issues of perfection and being hard on themselves for self-evaluation and self-worth. And the addictions tend to be caffeine and bread, and compulsive cleaning shows up again here with the solar plex. Yellow is the color, so you can look at essential oils that really open up that area because they're yellow, which would be the lemon, lemongrass, key lime. But you could also look at, because it's solar plex, you might look at an anti-inflammatory to open up the digestion and help with digestion. And so Roman chamomile, German chamomile, those are really great for anti-inflammatories, and they can really be great for the nerves as well as for helping with digestion. Again, there's so many options. I almost resist saying anything with essential oils, because you can probably convince me if you have a good enough argument for which organ it works with, or if you're looking at it for its colors, or if you're looking at it for the nerves, essential oil wise. Anyways, so yeah, solar plex. The next one up is our heart chakra, and our heart chakra, I've mentioned earlier, has a lot to do with love and growth, and your thymus gland, your lungs, as far as different vital organs that are in that area, heart, of course, and your lymphatic system. Your lymphatic system is just under the clavicle, so just above mammary tissues, really, and it's superficial to the circulation. So when we're doing lymphatic drainage, you'll see this in the massage course, we're pushing pretty lightly, because if we push too deep, we're going actually into circulation. Anyways, so lymphatic drainage is very much a part of this, and when we get into specialized massage techniques, and even just following the basic principles of massage, we often talk about superficial, deep, superficial, and we start off with the light technique, then we get into deeper techniques, and we end it with the light technique. And our movements tend to be proximal, distal, proximal. We end, I shouldn't get into that right now. But just to say, the lymphatic drainage happens with every move that we do that's going to the heart and away from the heart, because we're always going lighter when we're going away from the heart. And again, that's we're stimulating everything going to the heart for circulation and lymphatic drainage. Yeah. So the heart chakra is green. It can also be pink. Pink is more in the relationship scope of it, and green can also be more for love, but more for self-love. And also you have bronchioles in there, so if you have emphysema, COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disorder, or even just asthma. And I say even just asthma because COPD is a progression of emphysema. And usually those blue bloaters happen from smoking first as your precursor to all of that, kind of the lead up of chronic lung issues, or the progression of them. So we see a lot going on with giving and receiving, finding a balance between giving and receiving with the heart chakra, with trust and lovingness, ability to give to ourselves and others. Coping with loss is a huge one. So finding balance. If you've just went through a divorce, you might be really needing to work through the heart chakra. Maybe your heart feels literally broken. You know, I once worked with somebody that had a broken heart, literally. His partner cheated on him, and after 25 years left him for a younger woman. And he came to me after he'd had a heart attack, and I said to him, do you think that might have been, what do you think caused it? It's often you innately know what might have caused it. And he said, well, it's not my not being in good health, because I run 5 miles a day and I'm a gym teacher. And I'm like, And after your partner left you, what did you do? And he says, I ran so hard and I couldn't stop running. And I said, so it sounds like you had a fractured heart and then you pumped blood in it really hard. So I could see how the progression might become from an emotional state, and certainly a physical can add more pressure on it. And loving yourself like a baby might have been the best answer at that point, but certainly it comes when you're ready, and I guess that's when I met him. Anyways, heart chakra. So malachite is one of my favorites. This is a gorgeous piece of malachite. It's my favorite green stone. I had brought some back from Egypt that I absolutely loved in necklaces, and I found it to be very, very loving for myself. It gives me a lot of strength to love myself, and I think that's very important. You can also use rose quartz. This is a nice rose quartz, and here's another one of those massage ones with rose quartz. There's so many stones for heart chakra. Even jade. We have a nice BC jade here in Canada. And certainly there's beautiful jade all over the world. So if you're traveling, that's always something that I like to pick up in my travels, is special stones that I connect with. Oh, speaking of special stones, this was a tiger eye back to solar plex. It's a really good one for self-confidence, and I love the egg shape. There's just something cocooning about that feels really nurturing and, cocoon. A birthing. It's like a rebirthing, that egg shape and the way it sits in my hands. And I love placing that one in people's hands. So that's heart chakra. The addictions there tend to be things with lungs, so marijuana, nicotine, cigarettes. Touch is the sense for love, for the heart chakra. And then the heart chakra itself, we're looking at the sound is yam, and F is the musical note. And the flute or wind instruments are really opening for our lungs and our heart chakra. And you can see that correspondence. What else can I say about heart chakra? We talked about rose being the essential oil for heart chakra. Really, a lot of flowers are. Flowers themselves make us feel. They are very much hormonal oils, and love, that essence comes from a lot of blossoms, but notoriously roses, the smell of love, and is the essence for love and helping deal with transitions. Throat chakra is the next chakra. The color is blue for the throat. Has a lot to do with healing, creativity, and communication. So vocalizing ourselves can help release blockages in the throat chakra. So journaling can be great for that. You can also look at if you had throat issues or ear, nose, and throat issues. You might do a cleanse for that area where you're reducing mucus foods in your cleanse as well. So mucus forming foods are dairy and gluten, and oranges can be very phlegmy, very mucus forming as well. So you might encourage people that have a lot of neck pain and shoulder pain to open up their throat chakra by singing, vibrating, humming. Those are all wonderful ways to open that up. Or like we said, journaling can be a wonderful way as well. And the color is blue for the throat chakra. So you might look at your healing room might have some blue components to it. You might have a blue blanket on your table. Your table might be blue. You might look at color and that significance for it. Certainly German chamomile is a blue color and it's a wonderful anti-inflammatory. Honey is a wonderful anti-inflammatory if we're thinking about throat and things as far as antibacterials, and can help with softening our voice, softening our tongue. Also, I find a lot with throat chakra, there's TMJ. If you have a blockage in your throat chakra, you might find that there's TMJ. So 2 orthopedic tests you can find on my YouTube channel to open and close and see if there's a swagger to your jaw. That might be an indication that you have tension in the mandible jaw. And opening that up can certainly open up your ear, nose, throat, release headaches, release jaw tension, open up hearing, release neck pain, open up your sinuses, release migraines and headaches, if I didn't say that already. It can help if you're sensitive to hot and cold foods. You might be grinding your teeth when you're stressed. So often when people are stressed, they clench and grind their teeth, and that can really close up this area itself. So these habits can lead to neck pain. And if you're coming to see me regularly for neck pain, and I can do traction for it, I can do all kinds of things, but I might as well check the jaw, and I might as well talk to you about things that can open up your throat chakra so that I don't have to see you as often, and you'll refer me more because you're happy with the service, because you don't have any migraines or neck pain or whatever you were coming in for in the first place. So getting to the root of the problem is definitely what this lecture is about. Just quickly finishing up with the third eye chakra and then the crown chakra. So your third eye chakra, the color itself is an indigo color. The sound is Om, which is why you hear that a lot in yoga, because they're really working with third eye, which has a lot to do with enhancing your vision or your psychic abilities. We all have them. Listening to that inner voice. Releasing negative habits is a big part of the third eye, and yeah, certainly enhancing clairvoyancy and telepathy is a big part of working with your third eye. The Star of David is the symbol for that. And what else can I say about it? I think I mentioned earlier that there was quite a lot of root essential oils that also come into third eye. So with third eye, enhancing third eye, I like to work with things like frankincense, myrrh, Palo Santo, sandalwood. Yeah, because of opening up the third eye. That would be my choices. But you could also convince me of lang lang and jasmine and certain flowers, again, back to their colors. And violet is our crown chakra. The color violet resonates with our crown. Our crown is higher service, working for the goodness of all, belavante, volunteer work is coming from our crown chakra. Really quickly, amethyst was one for the third eye that you might place even on the third eye as you're offering care. I like to put a lavender eye pillow on their eyes and just slip a little moonstone or a little crystal right in on the third eye. Just be careful you don't forget to take it off. And then, yeah, the crystal for, I mean, again, we can get into so many different crystals. I feel like I'm not really doing this justice, but this isn't really more than encouraging you to get intrigued by this and hopefully to consider getting certifications. Again, we don't even teach certifications in energy work, but I consider it an essential pairing for all practitioners, just to protect themselves and also to be more mindful of where things are coming from, so you can help unwind people's patterns a lot faster by being aware of what tailored or customized homework you could give them because of their perhaps blockages. So the crown chakra is really, the symbol is the lotus symbol. The musical note B really opens up the crown chakra. And it has a lot to do with knowingness and oneness, that we're all one, we're all connected. And so how do we work in service? And you're already there as a practitioner. You were drawn to work in service. So that might not be one that you're struggling with if you're here. Anyways, I hope that this has proved insightful to you. And certainly if you'd like any more information, there are books and books on chakras. But I don't really want to suggest the Crystal Bible or rhyme off too many names to you, although that is a good one. But Louise Hay, she is a timeless piece. And yeah, bless her heart, she's passed now, but her books still really resonate true. For instance, she talks about if you have knee pain, you might have fear of moving forward. Or if you have, and I'll leave it at that, and hopefully that intrigues you to go a little bit further. Blessings, and I really hope that if nothing else out of this, you took that, that we are all connected, and staying in the light and protecting yourself protects everybody else. Blessed be. Thank you.